One of the things that is always a hard lesson learned when you're doing this for the first time is the good old adage of keep it simple, stupid. Okay, we were very hard pressed to get the materials back then, so you went to whoever you could to get things for free. Well, John Deere Horicon Works was more than happy to loan us all the equipment for one of their riding lawnmowers for free, and so we put that transmission into the car. You try to do what calculations you can, but one of the things you overlook is the internals of the transmission is not designed to go 35 miles an hour. It's designed to go 8 miles an hour. So at that RPM or that speed and that loading, what we learned the hard way is that half shafts break easy. Okay, so we took a nice little trip one night after the first day of competition. It broke once. Drove from Horicon, Wisconsin over to Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, Dayton, Ohio, up to Toledo, that's right. To get the parts. Oh, that's right, Tecumseh, Michigan, we went to get the parts for this transmission. And then came back, put it back together the next morning. So it's amazing what heroics you pulled to go ahead and get these things done. So yeah, it was hard lessons learned. Yeah, it was a great car, and it's a nice design points, but that's about all it got us. So then on the next year, in '85, we went on a severe diet. So, and then we took the original car, if you will probably notice, and it gave it some springs, okay? Finally decided that needed suspension. And then we took the other car from the year before, and we started hacking and sawing and redesigning, re-engineering, and really worked hard to keep that design simple. Took two teams up to Wisconsin, to the Briggs & Stratton Company, and back to the Astaland motocross track, and did really well with that competition, did well with drivability, and did well with some of the top speed and braking events. And then in the last day, and still then that year, it was just a 1 hour endurance event, but that was long enough on this motocross track. We proceeded to run both cars very well, and in the hunt of the battle, winding up third in the endurance event that year, which was really surprising. We didn't think we were doing that well, and it was a very big shock when we were driving the car to have the judges flag us into the impound area. We were not expecting it. So that was a very good feeling to have that, how it finished that year. So the next year then, in '86, we took everything that we learned, School of Hard Knocks from those 3 years, and designed a new car from the ground up. Some of the things I'd have to say about that car that we're very proud about, and of course, rules were way different back then, is we could do a lot to make it light. That Trailer Queen weighed 625 pounds, okay? That was a pretty heavy car back then. The next year, putting that car on the diet for '85, we got the weight down to about 525 pounds in the summer with the driver. This year's car, when we got that done, was 425 pounds. About when we got done with it. So very drastic improvements on weight. And considering back then we had an 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine that we had to use that on a good day would develop 6.5 horse actually. How you got 8 horses, you revved it up to full throttle, put the dyno on it, and you peak out at 8 horsepower, but then it would come back down. So that's what we had to work with. But during that, did really well. We took first place in design, first place in cost, ride and handling. In fact, the GM engineer told you what that night? He said our car rode like a Cadillac. It was the best riding car out there. Now, along with the competition that we had, I also had a chance to, because of the '84 car, got offered internship at General Motors at Doco Products. So I was a bit of a plant in the suspension because I worked at General Motors doing suspension design. So this car here had a gas suspension on, air springs. And it was the only car running what was then air shock absorbers designed for Corvette, but valve for a Baja car, because I worked with our guys in the prototype shop at Dayton, Ohio, to get these units put together. So we also took first in serviceability, which turned out to be a great big asset for us during the race, because during the race, after the first day's event, we found that we were in 4th place with what we had done the first day's events. And that we started looking at the points and realized that all we needed to do to win the event overall was get 3rd place or higher. Halfway through the 2 hour endurance event, they'd gone from 1 hour up to 2 hours now, We were in third place at the tail end of Milwaukee School of Engineering #2 car, waiting for a clearance to pass. And once you know it, racer's luck bit us. The little 5-cent throwout bearing in the rope starter seized, grabbed a hold of the crankshaft, and locked our engine up halfway through the race. So that's what you call racer's luck. But because of our serviceability, we were able to change the engine out after a quick panicked 3/4 mile run into the pits, grab an engine, grab the toolbox, and run like mad back over to the car back on the fire trail, change the engine. We had the engine ready to go with still about 40 minutes left in the race. Unfortunately, we started the engine, realized the transmission is in neutral, it's shifter. John goes to shift it into drive, the throttle was a little too wide open, we heard a resounding clunk. It broke the transmission, so there we sat. So,
They gave me a push downhill to get started.
yeah, that was our big problem. We pushed, it was a downhill, adrenaline gets going. And so we finished 8th overall, which was our best finish in the competition. But nonetheless, great lessons learned by all. So what I have to say with the SAE guys today, just keep on designing, racing, and go for that win. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. All right, now to discuss the future of the SAE vehicles, I'd like to get our esteemed tech director, Adam Whithauer, up here. All right. This thing's a little loose here. Yeah, racer's luck again. All right. Just talk a little bit about how far we've come here, actually just in the last 2 years. If you want to pull the sheets now, or? We're done, okay. This year's car, compared to the 07 car, we've gone from 450-pound car, which, by the way, 450-pound car in Formula these days is a light car. When most teams out there are running a 4-cylinder, 600cc engine that weighs about 125 pounds on its own, we've gone from a 450-pound car to a 365-pound car. So we're in the bottom, probably a couple percent for lightest car, and we're still running a steel frame. So everything's going on here. Another key thing here is kinematics, weight distribution, suspension geometry. Basically gone from scratch on that. A lot of advice from Optimum Cars. Basically, that's a consulting firm for F1, Indy, NASCAR, pretty much any racing circuit out there. So, I guess the other big thing we've done, trying to get too technical, is playing with weight distribution. We've gone from a 50-50 weight distribution to a 40-60, meaning that we've reduced the weight of the car by 20%, but we have the same corner weight in the back. So our acceleration should be just from that 20% better, because we are traction limited. So yeah, lots of improvements here.